What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cloud Slayer channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Today, we got another Monday Ramble. And first and foremost, I want to say, hope everybody had a great weekend. Um, Congratulations to my little sister. She had her banquet. She's about to graduate college. So shout out to my little sister. Congratulations. We all love you. And to big things going on in the future, stuff like that. So she sounds like she has big aspirations. She knows what she wants to do and what she wants to pursue and stuff like that. It just comes down to whether she's going to be able to or not, I guess. So a lot of it's waiting on words for that. She got a culture and language award from the BSU, Bemidji State University, and stuff like that. Awesome, awesome. Congratulations, little sister. We love you. Um, Son was proud. He's clapping his hands. Sometimes he didn't know, he's just going and doing what everybody else is doing and stuff like that. So it's awesome to see, she's going to be the first one in our I guess our generation from kids from my mom, whatever, to graduate college. So that's awesome, So congratulations and stuff like that. So, but anyways, you know, I guess since we're going to talk about that a little bit, there's going in relation to life, school and stuff like that makes you sometimes want to quit, give up, or it becomes very, very hard for you to complete some of these tasks, right? Or finish out your degree, or even just some of the classes. Maybe it's your first semester or something of however long or whatever degree that you're going to go for. And, you want to give up. I know my little sister talked about it sometimes, and she'd be stressed to the gills, and sometimes she just want to give up. She just, man, forget that class, whatever. But she didn't, right? She didn't give up. And it's in relation to life too, right? Sometimes you just want to give up. Something happens, but sometimes you got to buckle up and push through it as best as you can, right? Best you can. And I guess you got to continue through it. You got to go through it one step at a time, and you do what you can to get those things done, that certain thing done, even if it's something that you don't like. It reminds me of that Mike Tyson quote where he's like, being great at something is doing the things that you hate to do, but doing them like you love them in order to get that thing done that you want to do, right? You do the little things that suck, but you do them with the purpose. You do them because of that major thing that you're trying to accomplish. Sometimes it involves things that you're terrible at, but you got to work at. But that's the point, right? That's the only way to get better, is to work at the things that you're not very good at, and the things that you don't like to do, that you dread to do, because you dread to do them because you're not very good at them. And if you only stick to the things that you're good at, are you really progressing? Sometimes working at those things are the missing link that you need to move forward with whatever it is you're looking to achieve, or whatever you're trying to do, right? It just gives you a different perspective of how things can be, right? So sometimes challenges are things that are going to propel you forward. So or they could be something that makes you quit, makes you give up. That's ultimately up to you, right? That's your choice, whether you're going to proceed, whether you're going to work at that thing and get better at it, or to give up and not go forward. Um, just because you give up and not go forward in this regard, doesn't mean that that's the end, right? You can do something else. You can figure something else out to do, but sometimes you got no choice. You got no choice but to get better at those things, right? You hear a lot of these guys that they speak about like entrepreneurial things and stuff like that. Like they quit everything and they started up their business, and they had no choice but to succeed and things like that, right? When you're in a situation where you cannot fail, or else what's what's the alternative, right? Nothing. You got nothing. You fail, then everything's down the drain for you. So what do you got to do? You got to work your butt off. You got to learn, and you're putting yourself in a situation to succeed or fail. I mean, it all depends on your actions, is what they say, right? And people are gonna fail a lot, and people are gonna succeed a lot. But you know, I guess what they say, if you don't, the first you don't succeed, you got to get up and try again. As long as you're alive, you're able to try again. So I like that type of things, those type of motivations and stuff like that. I've heard them since I was a kid. I know sometimes you hear these things and you take them for granted until you're hit in life with those situations, until you're hit in the face with that same type of predicament. It's never the exact same. It's going to be a little bit different, right? Because all situations are unique. It's not the same situation. It's the same type of situation, right? So, and different individuals involved. So everybody's different in certain ways and whatever. So, just because one person persevered through it, through their means, through whatever they did, doesn't mean you can use it the same way. I mean, you could possibly, if the situation's somewhat mirrored, but highly unlikely, right? So, because there's too many variables, such as other people involved or something like that, or, you know, sometimes it's a one-off. So you never know. But don't give up, right? Don't give up. You got to keep going. You got to do the best that you can. And, you know, it's easy to give up. It's absolutely easy to give up and try to do whatever and blame everything for your reason not to continue, not to finish, follow through on that, finish whatever it is that you started. And, I'd be lying if I said I didn't quit a thing or two in my life, because I have. I've quit many things and I've started many things and I've pushed through it on some things, and albeit I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but you understand the hardships that go with that stuff, and I guess if you're, let's say, I just want to throw this out there. So if you're a younger parent and you kind of don't understand those type of things, where you didn't really have to push through those things or anything like that, you haven't played sports or anything like that, you haven't challenged yourself, which is very highly unlikely, but maybe your family did everything for you and you just somehow you're an adult now and you have you got a kid or something, you fell in love with somebody, you got a kid, whatever, and you know you don't you're having a hard time possibly, and those kids are starting to go to an age where they can do something. They're starting to do stuff. They want to be involved with sports. They want to be involved with, any type of academic groups or something like that. They got robotics, they got math clubs, they got reading clubs, they got all these types of different things that kids can get involved in, that help somewhat prepare them for those things, right? Sometimes they say school isn't it has nothing to do with life, right? Sometimes I beg to differ, like school, you got sports, you got these other things. Sure, the maybe the material itself isn't something you're going to use in your day-to-day life, but the human interaction that you have while doing those things, especially team sports, is what's relative to somebody's life, right? And, I always highly recommend it. Send them to sports, send them, not just send them, you got to help them develop a want to do those things, If it's not fun for them, they're not going to want to do it. So make it fun for them, right? And that's the hard part, I guess. So, and that would be your challenge. And, if you didn't face a challenge then that's a perfect challenge for you as a parent. So, you know, but it's going to be tough. I have challenges every day as a parent, stuff like that. But I love those challenges, and it's always fun to see him want to do more. Challenge him to. We planted all our seeds this past weekend, and he was out there helping. I challenged him to do that, and that wasn't a challenge to him. It was having fun, and it was doing something that he loves to do, and that he was looking forward to do from last year. Because I tell you what, I don't lie when I say this, but he wanted to do all the watering for the plants and stuff like that. And he would get mad because I would, I'd race him out there, be like, hey man, I'm getting out there, and get out there and start watering first and stuff like that. So, but he wants to be the one that does that because you know, he feels so proud when we get to eat our vegetables out of our garden. So, it, you know, he likes to be told good job and stuff like that. So, as do we all. So don't forget that if you know, to say good job to some of those people that you care for sometimes, right? I do it all the time, and I don't mean to. It's just, you know, we all use those excuses of how we grew up, and you know, some of us, that's how it is, and it's not an excuse, and that, you know, that's something we got to get better at. So, but anyways, I hope you guys have a great one. Until next time, peace.